The TARDIS arrives at particular moments in space and time for many reasons. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes as part of some unknowable cosmic destiny. This particular arrival did appear to be planned. The Doctor definitely intended to arrive 20 miles south of Aberdeen in the 2nd century AD. He had directed the TARDIS here because he wanted to win an argument with Bill. They had, it appeared, very strong and opposing views about the fate of the 9th Legion of the Roman Army, and they were still in the middle of that argument when the blue police box materialized on a bare hillside, and they spilled out its door into the pale winter sunlight. Bill was as relentless in her argument as a terrier chasing down a squeak. "You don't always know! Are you actually saying you know the truth about every single event in human history?" The Doctor considered her question for a split second. "Near enough." She was practically bouncing with frustration. "You weren't there! You admitted that! You weren't there when the 9th Legion disappeared." He shrugged. "I can speculate." They'd barely progressed from the doorway of the TARDIS, intent on each other, the Doctor's tall frame bent towards Bill's angry face. Behind them, Nardole peered out dubiously at the towering grey sky. An icy wind gusted in his face, and he blinked rapidly in discomfort, drawing his dressing gown around him. He had clearly been settled somewhere, enjoying a pyjama day. His feet were wrapped in large, fluffy slippers, a half-filled mug of cocoa was clutched in one hand. His voice was plaintive as he tried to cut over the argument. "I thought we were having a day off." The Doctor and Bill didn't even hear him. Bill was vehemently holding her ground. "Look, I do understand this story. The Eagle of the Ninth was my favourite book. You know that thing when there's one book you actually manage to read and you realise it's not that you can't read long books, it's that they keep giving you the wrong books." "Of course I don't know that thing," the Doctor had already cut over her, "and that's fiction." Bill was still right in his sardonic face, raising her voice. "But it made me think. It made me look at the history. The 9th Legion weren't all killed in battle. It doesn't make sense." "It was a battle. War never makes sense." Bill's chin was jutting in defiance. Her fists were clenched. "So why do the stories say they vanished? Why don't they talk about the glorious dead lying on the battlefield? Where were all those bodies?" The Doctor pointed over the hill. "About a mile over that way. Coming!" Nardole winced. "Oh no, really?" Finally, they looked at him. He waved his now tepid cocoa in forlorn appeal. "It's a day off. The day we don't go anywhere. A little oasis of calm and comfort. You promised." Bill hardly heard him. She had reached a moment. It was a moment of assertion. After weeks of wonder and months of mind-exploding discoveries about the nature of time, space, and Time Lords, she could be a dazed and awestruck human creature no longer. If she never knew anything better than the Doctor did, she was going to shrivel into mere reactive gloop. She could feel it. Her brief adolescent obsession with the 9th Legion of the Roman Army had been the thread that had tugged her towards a world of larger thoughts, had pulled her all the way into the teaching rooms of the Doctor himself. He'd been masquerading as a tutor at the university where she dreamt of being a student instead of a dinner lady. The Doctor had been the only one to see her true potential. But here he was, just like all the others who doubted her intelligence, suggesting she couldn't possibly know what she was talking about. She'd had enough. If they all died, who was left to tell the story? The Doctor was already moving uphill. "Just come and see." Bill stood her ground, shaking her head. "If they were here, if there was a battle, and if they lost—" The Doctor interrupted again, his impatience rising. "There was a battle here. They lost." He pointed again up the hill. "They're over that rise and—" "Then they would have retreated south, along the river. And there is no way a legion of elite Roman soldiers could all be wiped out.